Let's take another call. Vanessa from La Mirada has a question. Vanessa, how can we help you this evening?
Hi. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I wanted to ask, actually, first of all, I wanted to comment on the child trauma and say that it's so true. My son is actually still in the process of not being able to reveal anything that happened while he was in a foreign foster home. So it's still very terroristic over here. But I wanted to give you a brief update. I called last weekend, and I did have my hearing this past week, and I was given back my son for a 50-50 split between his father and I, which is good, although the case remains open for another year where they're going to be kind of looking over us. My question is that, I came up with so many inconsistencies from DCFS, even to my county-appointed attorney, who honestly, it turned out not to be the greatest thing. He never presented the evidence that would support the leveraging and the blackmail of trying to get me not to report the initial DV incident to the police. And this is the reason why the retaliation came in the first place. And it's interesting that you do have a tag opener on your station that talks about, do you have an angry spouse, or, all these things. And I'm wondering, how does this continually happen? And DCFS does not have any checks and balances to make sure that the defamation is not, like, why do we have to go through a year or more of our lives to refute all these allegations when they're not conducting a proper investigation in the first place?
That's a very good question, and there are a lot of theories about that. And they range from money, the amount of money the federal government pays the department for keeping a case open and servicing that family when they may or may not need services, to all the way down to, just people not caring. People, you might have a court-appointed attorney, and that, many years ago, I was a court-appointed attorney. And, there's a lot of pressure there because of the number of cases you have, and the amount of time you have to spend on each of your cases. So, there are a lot of reasons why I think this happens. And one of the main reasons is if I was involved in a case a few years ago, seems like 2 years ago, and it was a civil rights case where we had alleged that the social worker had not told the truth in declarations filed with the court. And it turned out that she ended up admitting that, she had not been honest and truthful. Well, we won the case settled, and, that social worker today is a supervisor in a DCFS office. So, the money that you may win in a lawsuit when you sue a social worker for not being honest or not telling the truth, that social worker doesn't have to pay the money. Mm-hmm. The county does. So there's no
accountability.
Yeah, there's no real accountability because it's not coming out of that social worker's pocket. So, social workers continue to move forward with, how they do business.
And are there any class actions or anything that are already intact or anything like that that are known, for instance?
Well, first of all, the Supreme Court made it very difficult to do class actions the last few years. There is a class action, or there was a class action brought by an attorney in San Diego. The attorney's name is, it just slips my mind. But he's a very good attorney. He had a class action, but his class were children that were being injured in CPS care. And then I believe Sean McMillan did one or two class actions, or has one or two going, and he's another attorney in San Diego. But I think his class actions are up here in Southern California, the LA or San Bernardino area. But okay. I think those are class actions regarding Fourth Amendment issues, the social worker coming out and taking your kid when they don't have a warrant or a court order.
Got it. Yes.
But it's very difficult, for you as a parent and another parent to have the same problem. And, from what I know about class actions, you guys have to also have the same problem and suffer the same injury.
It's true. It's true. So my work as a domestic violence advocate, and even now facilitating my own systems advocacy work, I have found that we survivors have many of the similar stories about this vengeful defamation that happens in terms of trying to either get back at your ex or try to keep you quiet. In my case, after I was assaulted, I was sequestered for 3 days. I have him on audio recording, and it's related to my filing of a police report and everything. And it was bodily injury. I spent a night in the hospital. I have him on audio tape telling me that if I go to the cops, my son will be in a foster home. He's leveraging all sorts of stuff. And even GCFS having this and still going forth to traumatizing my child, traumatizing my whole family, and huge financial loss.
Right.
Huge.
Vanessa, hold on. I want to interrupt you because my engineer is signaling me.
Oh, okay.
But what I want to do is I want to tell you this. People are people. And whenever we have people administrating any type of system, there are going to be problems. Lots of problems. The best that we can do is keep fighting and keep trying to make change. Mm-hmm. And the best way to do that is vote. In California, we vote for our legislators who make the laws. We vote for our county judges who act as judges in these juvenile cases. So that's the best thing you can do is vote. Get a group together, get a voting block together, do something to make a change. Vanessa, thank you for calling and thank you for listening. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I'm attorney Vince Davis with Cynthia Becker. We'll be back with more questions and more stories.